Welcome back, audio lovers, to the Home Studio Simplified channel. This channel exists to simplify the complexities of the home studio and to help you make professional sounding music in a less than professional space. Today we're going to be going through the comment section of my YouTube channel, sort of on the back end, and I'm going to show you a comment that I recently had and a challenge that we're going to accept today together. So I was reading through the comments here, and 5 days ago, David Matheny posted this. He said, "I would like to see a demonstration of how to create a blues track using VST grooves." My response was, challenge accepted. Now, while I'm not completely sure as to what he means by using VST grooves to create a blues track, I can definitely show you at least how I would go about creating a blues track within Cakewalk by BandLab. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, and hopping over to the desktop now, we're going to start this song just as I would any other song normally, and that is with a drum track. Now, a lot of people prefer to use a click track, and while I don't necessarily prefer that myself due to that pinging noise that just doesn't do it for me, I would definitely say at least play to something, a metronome, a click track, a drum track, whatever it is, so that your timing is a little bit tighter. And so I'm going to be using Addicted Drums 2. This is my virtual instrument of choice when it comes to drums. And for the sake of brevity, I'm just going to pull up a Blues Song 2 loop. It is at 85 bars. It is a time signature of 4/4, and I've got my tempo set to around 82, which may or may not change depending on how this sounds. But we're just going to build off of this. This is going to be our bedrock on how we build off to make this blues song. And it sounds like this as of right now. Okay, so it's real straightforward. It's just right out of the gate, it sounds like a good blues riff. So I think I'm going to go ahead and go with this one. And I'm just going to simply take this clip here that says all, which if you've worked with addictive drums and you have a song loop like they have here, then it actually gives you like a breakdown of the song itself. So I'm going to go with the all because that's going to be every bit of it. And then we're just going to go from there. What I'm going to do is just move this over here. I'm going to click and drag the all into the MIDI section of Addicted Drums here. Okay, I can close that now. I want to make sure, however, first that I have the sync play and stop off. Otherwise, I'm going to have two versions of drums playing at once, and I don't want that. All right, so I've changed the BPM to 90. It just feels a little more natural. I'm going to go ahead and try to lay down this blues track now after I've got more acquainted with the loop itself. All right, now I'm just going to layer some wah on top of this just to kind of give it a little bit of a thicker sonic structure here. Let's go ahead and take a listen to what that might sound like. Just kind of winging it here. All right, so now that we have the drum track laid down as sort of our backbone, we have the rhythm track that's sort of adding to that, giving it a little bit of support, and now we have the wah track pan to the left side, just accentuating the rest of the mix. Let's go ahead and take this little bit of a riff that we've got here that we've just kind of played around with, and let's do some noodling over top of it. All right, so if I was going to take this track now and use these recordings now to loop, what I would do is I would first find a good starting point for this original track here. Right after that slide would probably be the best place to start. So maybe here. Okay. Hit the S button there to split it. And then just kind of let it play out here. I'm going to bring them drums in on top of this now. Okay, and then I can delete this first portion off of here, and this should give me my loop. And then technically, because it's in time with the grid, I should be able to hold Control and D and just paste it right over. Let's see if it was seamless. Okay, that works good. All right, so I am not a bass player, but I'm going to go ahead and try to lay down a bass track. All right, so now that I have this pretty much lined out the way that I want, I've got all of this just kind of piecemealed together here. I'm going to go ahead and bounce this down to a single track just by simply selecting it all, bouncing it to a clip. That basically just saves all of the edits that I just made and does away with the crossfade marks. And then because it is a mono source, I don't necessarily need it to be stereo. There's really no stereo effects on it other than the reverb, and I've got reverb sends on there anyway. So I can just simply select the track and then go convert to mono here. And so I will do that. All right, so now we've got that all on the up and up. We've got this a mono track. We've got mono sources here, which we can pan left and right. This one here is on the Sonotest surround, so it's going to be being panned the whole time anyway. I'm going to go ahead and pan this just a little to the right, and then leave the reverb sends pan to the left and this medium plate to the right all the way. That should give it a little bit more of a sonic footprint there to give it some space. And then the bass guitar, I'm just going to leave it as is. Got a little bit of saturation going on there. All right, so let's go ahead and take a listen to it and see where it stands as of now. All right, so not too bad for throwing together something here real quickly. Had a lot of fun with this. I love blues. I'm a sucker for blues. So whenever I saw this in the comment section, I was like, I could definitely do that. Now, whether or not I actually answered his question or not, I'm not really sure because I wasn't really sure as to what he was asking. I don't know if he was talking about doing a completely loop-based blues song off of the groove clip looping. But if that's the case, then essentially you would just do the same thing, but you would just take small portions of verses, choruses, bridges, breaks, and then you would just simply split them up, and then you would just copy them onto the timeline. So essentially, I don't normally work that way, especially when I'm writing music. But because of Cakewalk's new arranger feature, that would definitely be a good fit for the arranger feature that Cakewalk has just introduced, which would allow you to sort of fly things around and change up the entire arrangement as you went. But just something real quick in a hurry. I thought this would be fun. So challenge accepted. I hope that I did a good job trying to answer your question and also provide a little bit of value here today. Okay, and that about wraps up this entire track in just a matter of, I think it's been close to an hour now, hour and a half. Just kind of slapped all this together. So not too bad. And you got to take into account I was recording this too. So before I go, I'd like to ask you a quick question. What is your go-to plugin for guitars? What do you use to make them sound gritty, beefy, maybe cut through the mix a little? Leave that in the comment section below. I'd love to know, and maybe share with my audience. That way we all could benefit from that. If you found this video helpful, leave me a comment as well and let me know that. Give me a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel, and remember to click the bell icon so that every time I upload a new video, you'll be the first to know. We got some really cool stuff coming up on the live streams here within the next week, so stay tuned for that as well. Until next time, guys, remember, we can dream alone, we can create alone, but together we can achieve so much more.